All right, so 2 more videos to go. I mean, honestly, if you're this far, you're doing great, and clearly you want to be successful. Please make sure, like as you're going through the pretest, to refer to these notes and come ask me for help. Here we go. I want to go backwards a little bit. 3 of the numbers are going to get skipped because as I went through it, I found 3 more that were like go from equation to graph to table. So when you're when you're looking at this, go into y equals, type it in, hit the graph button, see the graph, second, and then graph, goes to the table, and oh, you know what? That's not the right one. Well, let me change y equals, go to the graph, go to the table, or whatever it is. So it actually pops up 6 different times, kind of knowing like how to get from one to the other, which table matches which equation, which graph matches which table, or whatever it is. So it pops up 6 times. Make sure you're using your calculator. So let's start here. Slope, steep versus flat. Well, your slope is the number sitting right in front of your variable. Usually your variable's x, not always, but usually. Um, if that number is a large number, big number, it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. If it's a big number, you're going to have a really steep slope. If it's closer to 1, it kind of sorts to maybe not as steep. And to get flatter, the smallest fraction, or if you want to change the fractions to decimals, your smallest decimal, your smallest fraction will get it almost as flat as you can, because 0 is flat, flat. So the closest we can get to 0, the flatter it becomes. This one actually covers a couple different concepts. Y-intercept and slope. Your y-intercept is this one single dot where it crosses this y-axis. It's x equals 0. So 0, comma, however far up or down you went. This one looks like it may be up 1, or it could be down 4, or whatever it is. However much you go up or down, that number goes here. And it's usually some sort of starting point in real world examples, because you can't have negative time, and time usually starts here at 0 and goes up. Stuff like that, where it's like, I mean, the graph's kind of sort of there, but not always. Slope is going from point to point on the graph with your rise over run. There are a ton of YouTube videos out there that cover slope. But movement as x increases. So as you get more people in the room, you're getting $5 for each person. Or as you turn in a homework assignment, you're getting 10 points per paper, or whatever it is. So you're looking for those keywords that'll help. Oh, well, it said I'm going to get 10 points per paper, so I'm going to look where it gets, jumps up 10 as I turn in one more, jumps, or whatever it is. These are fairly easy. Equation of the line with this slope and goes through this point. There's a bunch of point slope stuff out there, but we're going to kind of do it the easy way. Equation of the line with a slope of negative 1/3. Well, actually, I'm going to go down to my answers, and if it doesn't have negative 1/3 x, it's not an answer, because my slope is sitting right there. So if I see 1/3 x, or 3x, or negative 3x, or 1/2, or something crazy like that, none of those are going to be the right answer. So this slope gives you this part of the answer. And we'll take the slope, this x and y point, and plug it into y equals mx plus b. So here's x, here's m. M is our slope, and here's y. Multiply those numbers and get -2. Add or subtract at the other side, and we get the rest of our equation. Which of these is equivalent to here? Well, just solve all your answers for y. And actually, all 3 of these in red, whether you move the number over, or distribute and then move the number over, or move the variable over, they all end up being 2x. Oops. Wait. That's better. Now they end up all being 2x minus 7. This bottom one actually wasn't. It would have been 2x plus 7. So it's little details. Go back to Unit 1, 18, 19, 20, 21. Talked about it there and solving for y. It's the same kind of concept. Perpendicular, and as you can see, we're skipping because we've seen 3 of them already. Perpendicular slopes and lines. It's opposite reciprocal slopes or negative reciprocal. Basically, change the sign and flip the fraction. So if I got 2x, change the sign from positive to negative, and since this is 2 over 1, it now becomes 1 over 2. It gets you this right angle when they cross. It's beautiful. So here's some more examples. A 1/3 slope has a opposite reciprocal or negative reciprocal of -3. because it would be -3/1, but you don't write the over 1. -7 is 1/7 because this over 1. That, excuse me, that they sometimes write, but usually they don't. -2/3 becomes +3/2, and 4 becomes -1/4. So flip this fraction, change the sign. That's how you get perpendicular. Graphing inequalities. So here's the deal. Generally, you can go y equals whatever into the calculator and see which line even looks right. Because if it's in the wrong place, clearly it's not the correct line. So you can do that. Then it's pretty simple. If it's not or equal to, either less than or greater than, you have a dashed line or a dotted line. I don't know, usually they print it one way or the other. If it is or equal to, that line is solid. Okay. Then, if you're less than, on your line, you're shading below. Greater than, you're shading above. Greater than, shade above. Less than, shade below. So it's not a left-right thing. It's more of a shade up, shade down from a specific point on the graph. Now, these test points that are out there are just to help you figure out if you shaded correctly. So, like this first example, y is less than x. Well, is -2 less than 2? Yeah, it is. Is +2 less than -2? No, it's not. That's why it's out here in the non-shaded area. And so that's how you would do it on all of these or whatever. So find some test points. Make sure your graph's okay. This covers a couple different ones. Well, they say, well, which point helps you figure out which way it's supposed to be shaded? Well, you should know which way it's shaded, and then just go find the one point that is sitting in that shaded spot. Here's another one. You have $10 to buy milk and cookies. Cookies are $1, a glass of milk is $2. They want a graph, is what they want, of like all the possibilities that you could buy 1 cookie and 2 glasses of milk or whatever it is. And all you have to do is, well, $1 for every cookie, we'll call cookies X, and $2 for every milk, we'll call milk Y. You do your X and Y intercepts. Plug in X is 0, and you get Y is less than 5. So I have this Y intercept here. When Y is 0, X is less than 10, so I have this X intercept here. And I'm shading usually underneath because you're usually on some sort of budget. You're less than or equal to 10. So you shade underneath. Now, technically, this yellow is supposed to be shaded also, but you can't really buy negative cookies or negative milk or whatever it is. So it's technically shaded, but not really. So you're really just looking for, is the line correct, and make sure you're shaded on the right spot. So we're going to stop this video here. And then finish up the last like 8 concepts on the next one.